life goes on.
The
And
curious thing to me, and it's different for everybody else, but it's like, when do you realize that this is not just like a rocky season, or
Mm-hmm.
the bad outweighs the good? Like, what, like, how,
Where do you get to that
how do you
point?
define the breaking point, or is it just like you verbalize, I'm getting a divorce, and then now you have to like stick to it and follow it through?
well, that's the thing. You don't have to stick to it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in South Carolina, because legally you have to be separated for a year.
Yeah.
So you have a whole year to decide
A lot of
that.
states
Yeah.
have
You
that.
can file for divorce and then change your mind.
Wonder
I
if
mean-
people do.
I'm
Oh,
sure
I
they
bet a
do.
ton of people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to.
It was like that chart I was sending last night in our group text. Like, there's so many stages. Like, you go through you're mad, you file for divorce, and then you're like, did I do something wrong? And then you're like, okay, can we work this out? And then you're like, no, it's all right. And then you're sad, and then you're like empowered.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, after all of that, you're kind of like, no, I got this,
Mhm.
and we're going to do this. Like, I guess that's part of the empowered phase. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to go through all of those phases, because if you're stuck in one of those earlier ones, you're going to be miserable because you'll be in the what ifs.
Yeah.
You know? But once you get past the what ifs, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
I had to mourn the end of, like, I keep going back to the family unit, but like that's what it was. Like I had to mourn the end of what I imagined it would be. And I mean, outside of like severe, like, you know, extreme like abusive situations, we're not talking about that. But just when people decide like this is not working out, like there's no extreme, like there's like no incident that sparked, you know, it's always like
Really?
a straw. And how do you decide?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I think it's somewhat a selfish decision.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Like, I don't want to be with you anymore because I think I can do better than you.
Yeah,
So let
or
me do
because the alternative of even being alone is better than this.
Right.
But, you know, you're essentially taking a risk, and it's
Mhm.
like, you don't know that it's going to be better. I don't know.
It's got to be a selfish thing, though.
It's
And
absolutely
I
a
think
selfish thing.
it's like such a thing, too, when you have kids. Of course, like, the main thing is it's like doing it for the kids.
Yeah, everybody tells that.
And then there's the thing where everyone always says, don't stay in it for the kids. Don't do this for the kids. Don't do that for the kids. But you do what is good for you, because you're the one essentially taking care of the kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, you do what's good for you. And, like, you can't hold on to that. And it sucks for the kids, but they are kids, and they will get over it.
So resilient.
Yes.
Kids are so
They will
resilient.
get over it.
And they don't have the
It'll damage
expectations that
them.
we have.
Yeah.
But we say it like, okay,
It will damage
I'm just going to play
them,
devil's
for sure.
advocate.
Right.
For it. We love saying that kids are resilient.
They are.
They are. But, like, should they have to be? You know,
No.
like, that's my thing. Like, just
No.
because they can cope with this thing, like, should we put them through that?
No, but should we be giving them
They
an
don't have to be.
example?
They just are.
But are they like, so what's better? Like putting them through this situation where we can talk them through it and, you know, put them in therapy, or like giving them an example of a loveless marriage?
I don't know. Some people are good at faking it to the point where kids don't know.
Yeah, but then you're miserable and you're not your best version of
Right,
yourself
so
to raise those
And that's
kids.
It's
the
like,
majority of your life. Like, those are your prime
Yeah.
years that you're like, I'm willing
These
to.
are their.
I don't know what the
Primary
right
years,
answer.
for
I mean, I
sure.
think it could be argued for both.
It could be argued, yeah, till you're blue in the face. And so then I just think you have to decide.
The age my kids are now, my oldest was the only one affected by it.
Yeah.
I will say that. Like, the younger two definitely get it, that they have two different houses now and stuff, but, like, my oldest is the only one who has been like, I want y'all together. Like, why aren't y'all together?
Yep.
She's the only one who has asked questions. The other two are just like,
We're going to daddy's now.
yeah. And I think they understand the concept of it, but they don't ask the questions
Yeah.
that she does, you know?
They might when they
Get older, and that's fine, yeah. But, like, I'm glad I did it when I did, because I just imagine if we kept working and working for years, and then it was just like this volatile relationship in front of them. Like, I'm just glad it is what it is, you know? And we are so good because we ended it when we did.
That's a great point, too.
Yeah.
you guys are able to not
Yeah.
resent each other.
Like, I feel like if we kept trying and got so nasty with each other, that the divorce would be nasty. But
Yeah.
we have been so clean cut throughout everything that it's been so easy, and it's made it easier for the kids, which is all we care about. So,
Yeah.
you know, everything's been pretty kosher. But
I don't know. I guess I just grew up with so many kids because divorce was very like not done because like,
Yeah.
I grew up around a lot of like very religious families, right? So you just didn't get divorced. You stayed
Yeah.
even for the kids. So like they just grew up in very incredibly abusive situation. Not like abusive, but just in like really bad situations where like their parents weren't in love. They hated each other. So then they were like, you know, tell your mom, blah, blah, blah. Tell your dad, blah, blah, blah. You know, and it was just
That's
like,
not a good situation either.
and the older I've gotten, knowing, like, the closer I've gotten with my mom, now that I'm an adult,
mhm,
it's like divorce wasn't normal when I was a kid,
right,
growing up in a Catholic school.
right.
Mhm.
No one was divorced. Like, everyone had happy marriages. They're all still
Right.
together. Like, the older I've gotten and the better friends I've gotten with my mom, and we talk more, I hear stories that she's told me about, like, my friend's parents doing this and that, and I'm like, Lord.
Yeah,
Because you would never guess that stuff.
Same.
But it's like, that's what goes on, but people fake it to make it.
Right. But why would you put yourself through
I'm
that?
glad I'm not doing that. I'd rather be divorced.
Yeah.
I think there's lots of reasons, though. I mean, I think also you have to think about for a woman who maybe, and you're experiencing this now, like hasn't been the breadwinner or the main income earner. Like a lot of people might feel trapped. Like this is what they have to do because they can't sustain life,
Definitely
especially
right.
in this economy. Like having to have two independent households is very expensive,
It
and
is,
like
yes.
keeping the marriage together just for the sole purpose of like
Financial.
financial. Like I could see that being a reason where you're just like, let's.
Well, that's what I've said since I've separated. I'm in the stay-at-home mom thing is all I ever wanted to do. Love it. I recommend it, but I also don't recommend it because it's a trap. Unless you're going to do that forever. It is a trap.
Yeah.
Like, trying to build your way out of it is very hard. with
People
any
don't
kind of
talk. Divorce will bankrupt you.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
legit. People that, I mean, our divorce and it was by all, you know, like measures, objectively what are these called?
Contested.
Contested. Thank you.
Yeah.
No. Scratch that. Still, at least 10 grand off my end for nothing. For a lawyer to proofread your email.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a couple grand every time you talk to a lawyer.
Exactly.
You know, it's expensive to get divorced. It's expensive to get married. Like, you know.
But it's also expensive to sustain two households. And
Yeah.
now
Very.
you're going back to school so that you can be financially independent, right?
Right.
That's a huge change.
Yeah. It's nothing I ever planned to do.
Yeah.
I always said when I was happily married, I was like, as a stay-at-home mom, I was like, yeah, I'll work one day when all my kids are in school. I'll go back to work for fun,
Right.
you know, just to do something. But now I'm having to go back to work just to pay bills, and
But I don't think you're ever going to regret,
I won't.
like, what you're
No.
gaining now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
even if you don't end up like,
No matter who
Yeah.
I'm with, if I'm by myself or with someone, I'm going to do what I do. And, like, I don't care if I met someone who was a billionaire. I would still go to school and make my own living because I will never get in that trap again.
Okay.
that's a clip. That is a clip. That's a clip. Mm-hmm.
That's a great reflection,
It
to be
is
honest. And
really-
it's real. It's a
Yeah.
real
I mean,
situation.
Because it's like I
And you're
said,
not-
that's
you're
what
not
I
the-
wanted my whole life was to be a
Yeah.
stay-at-home mom. But, like, coming out of it in a divorce, I don't care who can provide what. I will never do it again.
Yeah.
You're not the first person I've met that has said that. And I think that is so important.
But it's also like a problem that there's no like societal measurement of what monetarily a stay-at-home mom actually is contributing to the household.
My mom gets so on this, doesn't
I love
she?
it.
Does she?
Yes.
Yeah, so we've had
Yes.
these amazing conversations. So there is someone out there that has done some research. Talk tonight. But they talked about like how much it would cost. You would get paid if you were a maid,
Right.
how much you would get cost if you did the childcare, how much you would get cost if you were the assistant because like you're paying the bills and right. And it was
Grocery shopping, getting
Oh,
the
yeah.
car, oil
Yeah,
change, like all
and
these
it
things.
was a lot of money. It was a ton of money.
Yeah.
So they're like, so should we just like, should the government just start paying stay-at-home moms this much? Because like that's what they do.
It almost feels
I
that
wish
way
they
because
would.
also like this obligation to the corporate world and the work week and the 40-hour minimum, but oftentimes 60-hour minimums. That
Right.
was kind of made up thinking that there was a woman supporting
Right.
the household.
Right.
And now it's not the case. You've got two people trying to work.
And even it was a lot of times there was like a man working, there was a woman staying at home with 2 kids, and she usually had a housekeeper in that like middle class.
Yeah.
So like she wasn't even doing it on her own.
We're doing so much more.
Yeah. I mean
And then if you're by yourself,
I can't. This you guys.
I've never
I
complained
don't
about
do
the
it.
workload. It's just the fact of like the thought of going back to work and providing childcare and then paying bills. Like,
yeah,
I'm starting from ground zero.
Mhm.
And of course, I'll have help from my ex-husband, but like,
yeah.
it's not enough, you know? Like,
Well, with 3 kids,
yeah,
your work is going to be paying childcare.
yeah.
Just so that you can get the experience and start building a career.
Yeah, and I'm like, I guess my point is I'm not worried about the workload of working and being a mom. It's the financial.
Right,
Like, it's
yeah.
so unfair. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to build from the ground up, but I'm going to have to, and I will. We all will do whatever we have to do, but it's going to suck for a while, but we got this.